Hey everyone, today's Sunday, December 16th. Quick video. Proof of keys is a hot topic right now. Trace Mayer initiative about holding your own keys, moving your funds off of exchanges or other trusted third parties, and holding the keys yourself. One misconception for newbies that don't understand more of the back end of how Bitcoin works: you're not actually taking your keys off of an exchange. They don't have your keys and then they give them to you. What happens is you're moving the assignment of the UTXO, which is essentially what Bitcoin is the value representation, and it can move from address to address. Those addresses hold the keys. So you're not really taking your keys, but that was just one misunderstanding. Someone says, how do I get my keys? How do I prevent them from taking it back since they already had my keys? Just wanted to clear that up. You're not actually taking your keys. You're moving the ownership, the keys that they have, moving that value, that UTXO, over to a key that you control. And something else I wanted to mention on proof of keys, you look down here, companies that support, take a look at this list, and you'll see not very many companies that you recognize. Bitcoin.com is on here and BTC.com is on here. I'm semi-surprised about that. BTC.com used to be, well, Blocktrail. If anyone remembers Blocktrail, they were an API provider back in the day, 2014, 2015. I did some videos. They were fun to work with. They were acquired by BTC.com, which was also acquired by Bitmain. So that's why I'm a little apprehensive about anything that's BTC.com related. But they do SegWit stuff too, so maybe they're up on the up and up. But look at this list here. How many companies do you recognize here? Not very many, huh? You don't see blockchain.info. You don't see Coinbase. You definitely don't see Coinbase on here because they're the biggest honeypot of all. Um, but this is the idea. Pull your keys off of any trusted third parties and hold the keys yourself. One other thing I want to talk about that was brought up by Trace Mayer. Let's see if I can bring this up without losing myself. Oh, here, because I just responded to it. So Trace posted, proof of keys been generating a lot of good, if cynical discussion. A gem about hardware wallets like Ledger and Trezor would be funny if not so sad, potentially being true. With Bitcoin security, you should not assume nefarious intentions by everyone. No, you should assume nefarious. Sorry. Grubels says he doesn't want his private keys generated on Intel hardware. I agree with him. I don't want it generated on AMD hardware either. Sorry, I had to drink some of my tea. But I don't want a computer at all to generate my keys, personally. So let's say I did what's it called? A quoted tweet, or a tweet within a tweet. And I said, create your keys with dice, not on hardware. Use the CryptoSteel. Learn to decode your private key to its corresponding pay to public key hash, pay to witness public key hash, pay to script hash, wrapped pay to witness public key hash. Addresses yourself. Yes, one private key corresponds to multiple addresses. People that watch my videos already know this. Don't be a slave to third parties. No Trezor, no Ledger. I've never used a Trezor or a Ledger. I am not a fan of hardware wallets. If you're doing stuff online, you're holding small amounts, things like that, then yes, go ahead and use a key that was generated online. There's no other way you're going to do it. You can't automate a store. I mean, you would have to, if you're going to roll dice, that's going to take you forever. Just to do one address, it's going to take you a good amount of time, especially if you're going to do quality control. When you write down the numbers that you roll the dice and you input that into the computer before you go to create your key pair, you need to make sure what you're inputting exactly matches what you wrote down for the dice that you're rolling. So I do it 2 to 3 times. I do what's written on the paper to the computer. I type that in 2 to 3 times and I check to make sure I have an exact match. If any of those have one typo, then I do it all over again. I don't roll the keys all over again, but I type it into an offline computer to generate my key pair based off of the randomness I provided, my physical entropy, not entropy created by a computer. I strongly advise people to create your keys using dice instead of using a computer of some sort. Or a Trezor or a Ledger or any of that, especially if it's long-term stuff that you're holding first of all, it gives you control over your keys. Like back when there was the splits of the Bcash Bgold, I was able to claim mine right away because I held my own keys and I was able to do my own, build my own raw transactions. I could just boot up a node and do it. I didn't have to wait for Trezor to support it or Ledger because I'm not beholden to those companies and I'm not using their products. So, like I was going to say, if you're going for long term, do you want to use the same random algorithm that everybody else is using in mainstream crypto? Do you want to use the exact same cryptographically secure pseudo random number generator? That's the phrase, that's what I'm saying down here, CSPRNG, that everyone else is using. I mean, they should be random. That's why they're called cryptographically secure pseudo random number generators. But for the long term, you're going to hold the thing 5, 10 years. You want a computer to come up with your entropy that may or may not be backdoored by Intel or AMD or who knows? No, no way. Do it offline. You could be like Snowden and put up curtains around your house or in your on your windows, black it out, and then roll dice in under your covers with a flashlight if you're that paranoid. I don't think you need to get to that level of degree. Um, but I'm not going to trust some random number created by a little device. I mean, I'm not, people my age, which is the oldest of the old millennials. I just barely fit into the millennial category based on my birth date. Um, but we grew up with computers and technology. I had an Apple II from a very young age. And what was one thing that has been a reoccurring theme ever since I've been in technology and like looking at this stuff? Is stuff fails. Hardware fails, your CD drive fails, your floppy disk drive fails, things corrupt, there's bugs, there's things you find out 20 years later that, oh, turns out the Trezor was only creating keys in a narrow window of the entire key space. Like if that were to come out and be like, oh, it turns out they were only using about a trillion of the key space or a billion of the key space instead of the gigantic number of key space that is in Bitcoin. The number is so large I can't even say it. It's a number that humans cannot comprehend. It's almost to the level, it's not, but it's almost to the level of the amount of atoms in the universe. I mean, if you think about the amount of atoms in a single room, let alone the whole freaking universe, if you've got that much randomness, you want to use that much randomness. I don't know what Trezor is doing for their random algorithm. I don't know what Ledger is doing for their random algorithm. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it works. But if I'm going to hold for 10 years, for 5 years, for 20 years, I want to do it on randomness that I created with my physical entropy. I never have to worry about, oh, some third party had a bug. Now I'm going to lose all my money because someone exploited it. They found the maybe the key space, like I was saying, for Trezor or Ledger is narrowed. I don't know it is. I'm not. I don't want to get sued for libel. Well, it's not libel if I'm speaking. Anyways, slander. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is, but I'm saying if it turns out that they're using a narrow key space instead of the full key space that's available in Bitcoin, it could be attacked later on. We don't know what's going to happen in 5, 10 years. That's why I want to use physical randomness, use dice, and using dice is not hard. You can do excuse me, drinking my tea again. There was, let's see, bitaddress.org. This is the old school paper wallet generator that everybody used to use back in the day, including myself. One of the cool things about this is not, well, I guess this is cool. I adopted this for segwitaddress.org, the moving your mouse for randomness. But you've got something over here. Let's go to wallet details and scroll down to the bottom. It says, how do I make a wallet using dice? If you follow this example, you can make your own address using dice and the bitaddress.org website, which you can save onto a USB drive and run offline. Just like you can with segwitaddress.org. I always have to show my own site. You can do the same, and if you want Beck32, you can do the same and just stick it in as a brain wallet. As long as, because let's look at dice. What is the randomness dice? We've got to go to what is it? Well, from alpha. Let's see if I can. Is it this one? No, so I'd already put it in here. So if you roll a dice 99 times, that's 6 to the 99th power for different possible combinations. So I'm just saying, just as a brain wallet. Look, this number is 108 quadrivigintillion. Like, there's no way someone is going to end up with your exact same dice rolls if you roll 99 dice, and then you put that output in as a brain wallet, all the way 5, blah, 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 blah. But instead of sixes, you're going to use zeros if you want to stay with the base the base 6 encoding. Doesn't matter. For brain wallet, all we're doing is doing a SHA-256 hash of some random string. That random string is 99 digits that you randomly created with dice, and you've got a secure wallet. Now, I'm doing this online. I'm currently connected to the internet. However, you should not be when you are doing this. You can save it offline and run it just like you can with bitaddress.org. I did a video on how to create a Bitcoin address with dice. It's basically me just showing you guys how to do this. That's on bitaddress.org. YouTube, Mixolydian, address, dice. Here it is. How to generate a Bitcoin address using dice. I did it in 2015. It's very simple. If you need a visual demonstration, you guys can watch this video. That's really all I'm going to talk about today. I don't have a ton of time. I've got a meeting here coming up pretty soon, so I gotta go. But thank you guys for watching. I just want to talk about the proof of keys. I am a supporter, and I agree with Trace Mayer. Good to get your keys in your own hands. Don't let someone else holding your value with their keys. You want to hold it with your keys, so you're in control, and you can move your funds whenever you want. You don't have any withdrawal limits, etc. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Do whatever it is that you do, and I'll see you next time.